Coming up today on TechLink Daily, Facebook blocks Tor, Verizon is at war with Netflix, and the one crucial thing that you must know about your new Xbox One. All of those stories and more coming up right now. Welcome everybody to TechLink Daily. My name is Creighton Miller, and this is the #1 place to get all your hottest tech news. Today, we've got a great selection of stories, a little bit from security, a little bit from social, and mixing them up all around. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to lead off with what I think is today's probably hottest tech story, and that has to do with Tor and Facebook. So from the official Tor blog, we have Facebook and Tor. Today, Tor users have been rumbling because they can't log into Facebook. And why would somebody use Tor to log into Facebook? Well, maybe they're in a country where it doesn't allow them to log into social media, or they're very viciously tracked, or activists trying to hide themselves from being found out. Who knows? But it seems like this is neither an issue on Tor's side and not really an issue on Facebook's side, but a security aspect that has been kicked in behind Facebook. So it's not like they're deliberately doing it. So here is a statement from the official Tor blog. Facebook's site integrity systems detected automated malicious activity coming from a significant number of Tor exit nodes. In order to protect people while we investigated the problem, access via these nodes were temporarily suspended. This issue has now been resolved and Tor access routes to Facebook restored. There you go. Even at the time of this story, it has been fixed, but just to let you know, there's still issues even when you're using privacy software such as Tor. So if you use Tor to log into Facebook, it should be fixed by now. And, well, that was really the hottest story for today. Let's move on to some others. Speaking of Tor, we have another Tor-related article from Ars Technica, which reads, Onion Pi turns Raspberry Pi into Tor proxy and wireless access point. For those of you unfamiliar with Raspberry Pi, it is a small little computer. Like, literally, it is credit card sized. You can load it with different operating systems. Very powerful for being such a small design. And somebody has taken that and infused it with a wireless access point software and a Tor software and made it a little neat little dongle that allows you to access the web via Tor on a wireless access point that can basically fit in your pocket. So if you're one of those people who that might sound interesting to you, go check out this article and where you can get one for yourself. Netflix. Probably one of the best things to happen to the modern web, and it seems to be not going so well right now. From GigaOM, having problems with your Netflix? You can blame Verizon. I don't want to get too technical, but let me talk about how ISPs work. Basically, across the United States, and even globally too, there are backbone bandwidth providers that provide the big tubes around the entire United States. They go from across state lines, stuff like that. And then your ISP comes in, and they're really called the last mile ISP, which basically they get to take off of that main pipe and come into smaller pipes to provide residential access or business access, stuff like that. They're the people who actually provide that internet, and they buy bandwidth off of these big backbone providers. Now, it seems like Verizon is locked in a heated battle with a major backbone provider called Cogent. Verizon, basically, if a tube gets more than 50% full, they'll add another tube to kind of supplement the data. Well, apparently, Verizon is saying that Netflix is taking up too much of their bandwidth, and instead of letting that tube not get all the way full and putting in another, they're letting those tubes rise. So basically, those tubes right now are running at 100%. So if you're on Verizon right now and having issues viewing Netflix and just a really crappy experience overall, it is Cogent and Verizon in a, well, basically a locked head-in-head trying to say, well, let us use some of your data, but let us, have more pipe and stuff like this. They're going back and forth and back and forth. Hopefully, this will be resolved and then everything will be fine. We don't know just yet, but that is why Netflix is running super slow for you guys on Netflix and Verizon. And seeing that the NSA scandal is still a major part of the news, let's give you a tiny update from the Washington Post. Google challenges U.S. gag order. citing First Amendment. Google is this huge company. They basically know almost everything about you if you use their search engine or any of their services, even YouTube. They probably know information, gathered information about you. Now, they're pretty nice about their data. They don't share it with anybody. They don't sell it off to anybody. They keep it secured, encrypted, stuff like that. But at occasions, the NSA or any other governmental can come in and subpoena some of those data proceedings and try to use them to maybe take down somebody or use them to build up a case against somebody. And Google has been largely transparent about that, which is great. They manage data well, they know how to keep data safe, and they basically provided a good experience overall with keeping your privacy, well, private. Unfortunately, though, the US has put some gag orders on some information that they request. Now, Google is trying to fight that with all of this NSA stuff happening, saying that people have a right. It's the First Amendment right to be able to publish what source of data that you guys are getting from us. So right now, they're in court saying that we should be able to give it out. You guys can't gag us because, well, it probably muted the mic a little bit. You can't gag us to, from what data that you guys have. So hopefully this goes through, because really the NSA is kind of going against our First Amendment rights for both voices and our security. So there you go. There's your little update for today on this whole NSA scandal and what the good people are trying to do to save their good names on the internet. Now, speaking of Google, how many of you guys hate using Google search? You think you don't get the right results? Well, have you heard of a service called DuckDuckGo? They are a service that is, well, privacy related with searching the web. And a story from Search Engine Land says DuckDuckGo passes 3 million searches just 8 days after hitting 2 million searches. DuckDuckGo is a search engine that primarily provides safety through searching, something that people believe that Google does not do because they try to give you customized results. Well, DuckDuckGo is here to give you those raw results based on keywords that you input. So you might not get targeted results, and you may get results that you may not like, but you may get the results that you may like. And their main thing is security. They say that they do not log any searches. They do not log any information. So if a governmental entity were to come to them and say, we want your data, they say, we don't have the data because we don't keep the data. And what is interesting is they're pretty not well known in the world or even in the web community. And so from a tweet from them, they said it took 1,445 days to get 1 million searches, and it just took 8 days to get 3 million searches. And this is searches per day. Now, Google, granted, probably does even more searches than them, but this has been a steep and sharp rise. Let me show you this graph, and hopefully it shows. You can see right about there is when the NSA scandal happened. They just went whoop, and they're now going even higher. So basically what this means is that people are now valuing their safety using other search engines like DuckDuckGo to, well, basically secure their security and make sure that people don't track them. So if you are security conscious like that, go ahead, use DuckDuckGo. I believe it's DuckDuckGo.com. Check it out. All right, let's wrap it all off with some Xbox One news. From the International Business Times, Xbox One users must waive right to class action suits against Microsoft. If you've already pre-ordered your Xbox One, it came with this little disclaimer at the bottom, which reads, terms include binding arbitration with class action waiver to resolve disputes. Short in short, if it has something like the Xbox 360 had with the red ring of death, you can't have a class action lawsuit against the company. But what you can do is sue them individually. So they're basically trying to deter that if something major is wrong with the new Xbox One and people want to come after Microsoft with some big ass lawsuit, well, they can't do that. They have to do it individually across the nation in whatever state they are to go after Microsoft, maybe get their money back or stuff like that. So maybe good move on Microsoft's part, because those class action lawsuits can take away a lot of profits and a lot of money from them as well, and gives them security that they won't have to do anything too major. But then again, if something does major come down the line, they may lose a lot of their user base for saying, well, we're not going to fix it. You sign the disclosure. You can only sue us one at a time, and you probably won't win. Stuff like that. You never know if it is a good thing or a bad thing. Let us know. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that they don't want class action lawsuits? Leave those comments down below. That does it for today's stories. Let's head over to our question of the day. And I say question of the day because I really don't have any hardware for you guys today. I do have some stuff coming down the line very shortly, but nothing right now. So let's get into our question of the day, which reads, how much internet video do you consume every week? That is a very hard number for me to pinpoint because I consume a lot of video content. Not only all of my TV shows, but YouTube, Netflix, some Hulu, random videos that I find out there, maybe on Vimeo, on Flickr. Yeah, did you know Flickr did videos? Flickr does. So it compiles in, but if I had to guesstimate, I would say I watch maybe 12 to 24 hours of content every week. I know, it's a lot, isn't it? And I really do think that. I think I watch that much. That's a lot, isn't it? Yeah, I know it is. So leave those comments down below with how much you think you watch on a weekly or daily or yearly basis. Let us know in the comments down below. I'd like to thank you guys so much for trekking it out through this video. If you'd like to subscribe to us, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to also follow us on our social media profiles, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all under the username of LogicLounge. Be sure to also like, share, subscribe, comment, rate. Wait, YouTube doesn't have ratings anymore. Just like the video. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to close off this video right now, and I'm going to get to editing this video because I know it's kind of going up just a tad bit late. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.